you're doing well today. We're going to focus on releasing those tight hips. All right, so we're going to start out in a wide-legged child's pose. Now we're going to use 2 blocks today. If you don't have blocks, you could also use pillows or books. All right, bringing those big toes to touch. You could stack your palms and release your forehead down to your stacked palms, or you could release your arms out. Taking a couple deep breaths here. Breathing in through your nose and out through your mouth. Setting an intention to just let go. Let go of any stress that you may be experiencing right now. Allowing those inner thighs to release. We're going to extend those arms straight out. Lifting your forearms off the mat. Spreading through those fingertips. Pressing those palms and fingertips into the mat. And then just sliding your knees a little bit closer. And sitting back. And coming into your first downward facing dog. Lifting those hips up and back. Spreading through those toes. Pedaling those feet. Never ever forcing the stretch during your practice. Now we're going to step that left foot a little bit closer to the right and bringing that right foot forward. You could help it along and then step forward with the left. We're going to wiggle those feet out to the edge of your mat and then turn your toes out into a yoga squat. So you could always use your block. You could keep it here. So once we're ready to sit into that squat, bringing those palms to heart center and take it up. Take a deep inhale as we come up and reach overhead, and exhale as we come back around, bringing those palms back down to heart center into your squat. You don't have to go too low. Inhale as you come back up, and exhale as you come back around, bringing those palms together. One more time. And this time we're going to come all the way down into our squat. So placing that block, if you wanted to use your block underneath your glutes, pressing those elbows into your inner thighs, bringing your palms to heart center. Taking a couple deep breaths here, releasing your shoulders down. And then placing your block to the side, bringing your hands to the mat, wiggling those feet back to about hip width apart. And grabbing out your elbows, releasing your head down, taking a couple deep breaths here. You could sway back and forth if you'd like, and ragdoll. And coming back to stillness, taking a deep inhale as we come up and reach overhead, palms together, and exhale as you bring your hands down to heart center. Taking another deep inhale as we come up. And exhale as we swan dive all the way down. Inhale, opening your heart forward with a flat back. And exhale as you step back with your right leg into a low lunge. I'm just going to move forward a little bit. So keeping that knee aligned right above the ankle. Placing your hands, just framing that front foot. So keeping that foot in between your hands. Keeping your fingers tented. We're going to take a deep inhale as you look forward, and then exhale as you extend through that back leg, pressing into that big left toe. And then depending on your hamstrings, you don't have to extend that front leg all the way. Releasing into forward fold, and then repeat, releasing back down into your low lunge, inhaling, and then exhaling as you come back up. Lifting those hips up, tucking that belly button in, making sure that lower back feels good. Just warming up those hamstrings here. We'll do about 2 more at your own pace with your breath. And then holding it here. And then bending into that front leg, stepping back with the left into a high plank. Releasing those knees down, sinking all the way down, elbows in. Inhale as you come up into low cobra or upward facing dog, opening your heart forward and up. And then exhale as you come back into extended child's pose, and then downward facing dog. Feeling those feet a little bit more. Stepping that right foot a little closer to the left. We're going to step forward with that left foot. You could always help it along. And then the right to follow. Taking a deep inhale as we come up and reach, palms overhead. And exhale as you bring your hands down to heart center. Taking a deep inhale as we come up. And exhale as we sink. Inhale, opening your heart forward with a flat back. And exhale as we step back with that left leg into a low lunge. So wiggling that right foot in front. In between those hands, taking a deep inhale as you look forward and exhale as you fold. We'll do that a few times. And holding it here. And then bending into that right leg. We're going to step back into your high plank. Releasing your knees down to the mat, elbows in as you sink all the way down. Inhale, low cobra or upward facing dog. And exhale, coming back to extended child's pose. And then right into your downward facing dog. Now we're going to step forward with that right foot, halfway, and then all the way. On the outside of your mat, coming into a lizard pose, keeping that right knee right above the ankle. You could stay here with your fingertips tented, or if you wanted to grab both of your blocks or one of your blocks, you could release those forearms down to your stacked blocks. And again, depending on how it feels for you, you could always go a little bit lower. You could point your back toes behind you. Taking a couple deep breaths here, releasing any tightness that you may have. And then coming back up, placing that block to the side. Placing those hands into the mat. You could slide that left leg forward first and then step back with that right leg back into your dog. And then stepping forward with that left leg halfway, then all the way. Releasing that right knee down. Wiggle that left foot over to the edge of the mat. And then coming into lizard on the opposite side. So you could do just, again, 2 blocks or 1 block, depending on what you did on the opposite side. Coming into your lizard. And then release, placing that block to the side. Tenting those fingers, sliding that right leg forward a little bit. Placing those palms down and then stepping back into your downward facing dog. So at any time that I guess it'd be too much in downward facing dog, you could come down into child's pose. Okay, always listening to your body. That's key in yoga. We're going to step forward with that right foot halfway and all the way, and then the left to follow. You're going to grab onto the back of your thighs. You can grab onto your forearms or elbows. Releasing your head down, you could fold those, bend those knees as much as needed. Taking a couple deep breaths here. And then release. Taking another deep inhale as we come up. And reach overhead, palms together. And exhale, bringing those hands down to heart center. Taking another deep inhale as we come up. And exhale as we swan dive all the way down. Inhale, opening your heart forward with a flat back. Exhale, stepping back with that right leg into a low lunge, then the left. Then coming back to child's pose. We're going to roll up. We're going to come into half of pigeon pose, okay? Now, if this doesn't feel comfortable for you, you could take it into a reclined figure four. I'll show you first the reclined figure four. Okay. So just keeping those knees bent, bringing that left leg across your right thigh and pulling that right thigh in towards you, flexing that left foot. You could keep it in a seated figure four. Okay, same thing, but you're seated, and you could adjust if you want to bring those legs forward, open your heart forward to go into a deeper stretch. If you wanted to bring it into half a pigeon. So you keep that one leg extended, keeping that ankle right above that knee. You could use a block, opening your heart forward, and then releasing down. You could always use two blocks too, if that's better for you. Releasing your forehead down. Taking a couple deep breaths here. Flexing that left foot. And then rolling up, placing that block to the side, wiggling those legs, and then switching up sides. So again, depending on what you did on the opposite leg, you could do so on this leg. Okay. Setting up your block or blocks. Always keeping that foot flexed to protect the knee. Opening your heart forward, and then releasing down. This pose is a deep release for those hips. And slowly roll up. And just place the block to the side because we're going to use it. Bringing your scooting forward, making sure you have enough room to roll back. We're going to grab onto the back of your thighs as we lower down, taking your blocks or pillows with you. We're going to come into a reclined butterfly pose, bringing the bottoms of your feet together. You can slide those blocks underneath your knees or your clothes, underneath your knees, and releasing down. You could place your hands on your belly, or you could release your arms out to the sides, palms up, and closing your eyes, settling down into your mat here. Relaxing your facial muscles. Thank you for joining me today. Namaste.